Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fashion, Beauty, and Wine. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be trying to follow a Sephora Pro palette look. If you want to see what I come up with, stick around and keep watching the rest of the video. So I recently purchased a couple of palettes from the Sephora Pro collection, and one of those palettes that I purchased was the Smokey Jewels palette. Now, the Smokey Jewel palette going to be a lot of smoky shades. You have jewel tone shades, and then you have a couple of transition colors to basically tie the look in. And so I'm super excited to jump into this palette. Now, I don't know if you all are familiar with the palette or not, but generally when you buy one of the Sephora Pro palettes, it comes with a lookbook that is similar to this. Now, in the lookbook, it includes 4 different types of looks that you can create using your Sephora Pro palette, and I have been dying to recreate one of the looks to see if the instructions that they give are accurate, and I also want to see if the look turns out similar to the look that they have on the palette. Now, the look that I'm going to be recreating today is a look number 4, and it's from the Smokey Jewels palette. Now, if you all have been following me, you know that I reviewed the first 2 Sephora Pro palettes, and ever since I've been a really huge fan of the Sephora Pro palettes because they are just financially economic. And so I'm super excited to delve into this palette and give you all my thoughts on how the palette performs. Now, I'm not going to continue to bore you with conversation. Let's jump right on into the video and see what I come up with. Okay, so first and foremost, the look that I'm doing, they have it on a darker skin model. So that was one reason why I decided to do this look, because I'm guessing it's going to be Black girl friendly. So with that being said, this look looks like an extremely blended smoky look. So what I'm gonna do off camera is prime my eyelids. And for your knowledge, let me let you know what Sephora says. Sephora says prep under the eye with cream and prime the eyelid with fingertip using Sephora Collection Beauty Amplifier Perfecting and Smoothing Primer. Not gonna do just that, but I am gonna prime and then set my eyes so that we can at least do the next couple of steps. The next look calls for a Sephora Pro shadow brush in the number 14 to saturate the eyelids and blend everything evenly. Unfortunately, I don't own their brush, or I just can't find it, so instead I'm using my E8 brush by Loud Makeup Brushes, which is similar to the number 14 brush to fill my lids. As a side note, I'll also be swapping other brushes out for any Sephora Pro brush that I don't have within the next couple of steps. I'm now going to take my E5 brush by Loud Brushes to shade the inner and outer corners with the color Obsidian. This will substitute for the number 15 Sephora Pro Small Shadow Brush. I'll also use my Morphe M330 in place of the number 41 Sephora Pro Drawing Brush to wrap Obsidian around my lower lash line, as well as blend the color into my crease. Now I'm going to take my number 19 Sephora Pro Taper Crease Brush along with the color Soda Light and blend that color into my crease while using a back and forth motion. Now I'm going to take my Sephora Small Shadow Brush, and this brush doesn't have a number, but it is a small shadow brush. Now I'm going to use that instead of the number 18 Sephora Pro Shader Brush to smolder the lower lash line and drag it towards the center of the lower lash line. Now I'm going to use my E5 Loud brush to dip into the color Emerald to brighten the inner corner of my eyelids with a gentle pressing motion. The rest of the look I'll finish off camera, so I'm going to pop on my eyelashes as well as the rest of my face, and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. So this is the finished look, and I just decided to do my whole face like the look that was illustrated in the picture. Now, if you all are interested in recreating this look and you want to know the products that I use, I'll link all of those down in the description bar. As far as the palette goes, the palette worked absolutely amazing. It did. Okay, I take that back. And let's be honest, initially I thought this palette was bomb. And the look turned out phenomenal, but after editing and really getting a chance to look at this look, it's kind of very clear that I could have either done a better job or the product just didn't show up for work. As you can see, there's a lot of patchy spots and creasing, and in retrospect, I don't agree that the colors blended so well. Now, because I'm a firm believer in these Sephora Pro palettes and I spend my coins, I'm definitely interested in giving this palette another chance, but the next time I create a look, I'll be selecting my own preferred tools. So to be honest, I'm almost 50% sure that this look could have came out better had I used the brushes that I'm most comfortable with. And the instructions weren't the easiest to read. I had to read the instructions like several times before I got on camera to film just to make sure that I understood. I'm just saying, but I'll give it back to you, Crystal. I did go online and read some reviews, and it made me a little hesitant to buy the palette, but I decided overall that I would go and buy it and just test the palette out for myself. And one of the constructive criticisms that some people had about this palette was that this palette was not pigmented enough. And so with that in mind, I didn't expect for it to be overly pigmented. So overall, the palette was cool. The instructions were okay. There were some points where I got a bit confused and I just had to make it work. I wasn't a big fan of the brushes that they suggested to use, but you can make it work. If I was going about doing this my way, there's definitely a couple of steps along the way I would have changed and a couple of different brushes that I would change in order to make it work the best of my ability, but I did make it work. I'd like to know what you all thought about the outcome of this look. If you thought the look was okay, thought it was great, it was spot on, or it wasn't so great, I'd love to hear your comments down below in the comment section. I want to thank you all again for joining me. Peace, love, fashion, beauty, and wine. Bye-bye.